Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So I'm just out flying my Mavic 4 and I thought I would take this opportunity to talk about the DJI RC2 Pro. Now I've already made a few videos about it, including a full review of the RC Pro 2, and I included a lot of information on my initial Mavic 4 Pro review. But I wanted to kind of go over a few updated thoughts and just my user experience about using it over the last couple of months. Just to share that with you in case there's those who are on the fence about whether they should purchase it or not. After all, it's a lot of money. It's $999 US. Now, depending on what country you live in, it could be a little more, it could be a little less. Here in Canada, it's listed at $999 US on the DJI website, which converts to about $1,500, a little over $1,500 with taxes and exchange. So that's a lot of money to be spending on a controller. And does this new controller justify spending that much money? And for me, the answer is yes and no. In all honesty, the DJI RC2 has more than met my needs over the last couple of years. It's a great little controller, built-in screen, it's quick and easy to deploy, and it performs really well. So for most people, I think the RC2 is more than adequate for what their needs are. Now, there are definitely some really nice features with the RC2 Pro, such as its new larger screen, 7 inches. It has a peak brightness of 2000 nits. And I didn't realize how important that was or how much I really liked that until I went back and started flying with the RC2. I did a flight with it for the first time a couple weeks ago because I'd been using this controller for the last couple of months. And that 7-inch screen is actually quite a big difference when it comes to visuals, lining up shots. Even that peak brightness of 2000 nits is quite noticeable when you switch back and forth. So I have really gotten accustomed to this nice larger screen, and it really does enhance the flying. Of course, it is rotatable as well. Now that's not going to be important to everybody. Even myself, I tend to film most of the time, 98% of the time, in a more traditional aspect. If I'm going to be uploading to social media, I'll just crop the video myself while editing. But I know there are a lot of people who do film in vertical, and it is a much nicer experience when the screen is in a vertical format. And it actually works quite well. The DJI Fly app will adapt to that vertical layout. And if you're flying something like the DJI Mavic 4 Pro, the Mini 4 Pro, the camera will automatically turn, so you don't have to physically turn it. Now, some people have talked about the control sticks are a little bit different. And indeed they are. They're a little bit softer. I don't know really how to describe it. There's more tension, I think, on the DJI RC2 compared to the RC2 Pro. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, it's just different. And it's something you kind of get accustomed to. Usually when flying, you get that muscle memory on movement and how much tension and how much to move the sticks. And when you go to something like the RC2 Pro, it is going to be a little bit different, so it will maybe perhaps affect your flying a little bit. But just like anything, the brain adapts to that and you get used to it. In fact, as mentioned, when I went back to the RC2 last week, or a week and a half ago I think it was, it felt again quite different, that they were almost a little too stiff. So it's just something that you get used to. And for myself, it's not really an issue at all. Now, when it comes to the size and the comfort, it's actually extremely comfortable to hold. It was actually one thing I was a little bit concerned about when it was first introduced to me a couple months ago. I thought it was going to be kind of big and bulky, inconvenient to bring along, and perhaps even uncomfortable to hold. In the past, when I used to mount an iPad on a controller, I always found them a little top heavy and a little uncomfortable to hold, especially if you're flying for extended periods of time. But the RC2 Pro is definitely not uncomfortable to hold. DJI did a really good job at designing it. It doesn't feel top heavy. It feels really good in the hands. And really, when folded up, it's not all that much bulkier than the DJI RC2. In fact, the RC2 Pro will fit right inside the Air 3S bag. It'll even fit inside the bag that comes with the Mini 4 Pro. So there isn't that much more bulk to it when it's folded up. Another nice feature is that it has a built-in microphone. Now, in all reality, I will never really use the built-in microphone for any type of recording for YouTube or social media, but ideally I'll just connect my own high-quality microphone to it. But where it is important is when you're doing things like screen recordings, or even if you want to embed audio into something like the Mavic 4 HD video, you can automatically have a voice and audio track embedded into those screen captures and videos. That makes editing, especially if you have to sync footage up later in post, a lot easier. In the past, I would always have to connect a microphone just so I could have an audio track, just so it was easier to sync and post. But now we have a built-in microphone, which again is a nice convenient feature. The built-in flight simulator is really neat. Of course, they brought that feature over to the RC2 with a recent firmware update. It's not as advanced as the flight simulator on the RC2 Pro, but it's pretty good as well. And just really a nice feature for those who are learning to fly, or even experienced pilots who just want to brush up on their skills or learn new ones. It's just a nice, convenient way. It actually has a really nice, realistic flight experience. One of the problems I had with my RC2 is media management. Of course, we had limited memory built in, and when you're doing screen recordings or you need to transfer files over, it was always a little bit hard. But with the RC2, file management is a lot easier as it has its own built-in files app and lots of internal storage, 128 gigabytes, plus we have expandable storage there as well. You can connect it to HDMI. It offers clean HDMI out, so you can either have telemetry on the screen if that's your preferred way of doing it, or you can have the telemetry taken off. So, that's a nice feature, and a lot of people do make use of that. Now, in all fairness, this was sent to me by DJI for evaluation a couple months ago. So I have to really think, if this was not sent to me, if I had to go out and buy this myself, as mentioned, it'd be over $1,500 Canadian. Would I spend the money to buy it? And I've thought a lot about that over the last couple of weeks because I knew I wanted to make a follow-up video. And I think for myself, I am a drone enthusiast. I fly a lot, not every day, but some weeks, almost every day. I really enjoy tech, and I really, really enjoy flying drones. I do some commercial work, I do YouTube, and then of course I just fly for fun. So I think for me, because the main drones that I do fly are the Mini 4 Pro, the Air 3S, and now the Mavic 4 Pro. This is compatible with all those models. So for me, I think it is worthwhile. I think definitely if this was not sent to me, I would go ahead and buy it. Hopefully this controller has longevity. So that means, we're still using it in a couple years from now. All the new drones that DJI will be introducing over the next couple of years will be compatible with it, I'm sure. I would actually love to see DJI make the Avata 2 compatible with this controller. Cruising around a forest like this, with a nice big screen with the Avata 2, I think would be great. So for myself, I think yes, definitely I would buy this, whether it was sent to me or not. Now, with that said, I think for most people, a lot of people, the RC2 is more than adequate. The flight experience with it is great as well. The RC2 Pro is quick and convenient. One motion powers it on, brings the sticks out. But the RC2 is quick and easy to deploy as well, built-in screen. You do have to attach the sticks, but in all reality, that just takes about 10 seconds, not even. So yeah, folks, that is my experience with the DJI RC Pro 2 after flying with it for the last couple of months. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you are on the fence about it, maybe perhaps it answered some of your questions. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Is this a controller that you're considering? If you are or you're not, what are the reasons? If you have purchased it and you've been using it, what are your thoughts on it? Are you glad that you spent the money? I'm sure other viewers will find your feedback extremely helpful as well. Well, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this video and found it had value. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.